kind of images you are working with, you'll always want to prepare them so they load as fast as possible into the browsers for your users, yet still look acceptable for you. This is a process called image optimization. Here are some image optimization tips for getting your images to look as good as possible and to load them into the browsers as fast as possible. First, some tips for optimizing all graphics files regardless of file type or usage. Now, it seems obvious, but it's worth emphasizing that the larger your image is, the longer they will take to download. Nothing complicated here. Just never make graphics any larger than they absolutely have to be. So you want to resize or scale larger images to smaller sizes. Crop out all unneeded space around the edges of your graphics. Avoid large graphics to begin with, and then use thumbnails. Thumbnails are those smaller graphics that you see on some pages, and when you click on them, it shows you a bigger version of the graphic. Another neat technique is to cut out a section of the larger graphic, like I've done here, so you can see the details, and then that links to a larger page that shows you more content, but you're not shrinking the size of the graphic so much that it's really undistinguishable here in the thumbnail version. Let me now give you some tips for optimizing your GIF files. First, design with flat color. This means replacing gradients and other complex colored regions with solid colors. Favor designs with horizontal fields of color. Horizontal stripes condense better than vertical stripes. Don't anti-alias your graphics unless it noticeably improves image quality. And also limit the amount of photographic material in your GIFs. If you do have photographic material in a GIF file, you can use an application like Fireworks to slice out that photo material and export that as a JPEG, thus saving file size. See one of my courses in Adobe Fireworks for details on this technique. Second is limit dithering. Dithering adds to file sizes because it breaks up the solid areas of color that compress well. However, dithering may be able to help you reduce file size if the dithering enables you to maintain image quality at lower bit depths. In other words, use fewer colors but dither those colors. Dithering is the process of mixing several colors together to get a third color that really isn't there, so it makes your file sizes smaller but makes them look better. Also, lower bit depths correspond to fewer colors, which generally results in smaller file sizes. That leads me to the next tip. Reduce the number of colors. GIF file sizes are mostly dependent on the number of colors in the image. The easiest way to reduce the size of a GIF file is to restrict the number of files that it contains. So if you're creating files from scratch, graphic files from scratch, as you're creating the file, just use fewer colors when you're creating the graphic. You can think of a GIF file as consisting of two parts. The first is its color palette. You can see that color palette here in this window that I have open in Fireworks. This is a table that contains all the colors used by the image. The remainder of the file specifies the image itself, which you can see over here in the preview window. Both parts of the GIF file contribute to its size, even though only one part of the image is visible to your users. So the best strategy for reducing the number of colors in a GIF file is to employ a trial and error method of color reduction. Here in Fireworks, it's made very easy by having a little color drop down, and you can reduce the number of colors and see the results of that reduction here in the preview window. And the technique is to keep reducing colors until the image is no longer acceptable. Like this is obviously no longer acceptable, so you move it back to the last setting that gave you acceptable quality. This is the process called image optimization, and it's very much facilitated by graphics programs such as Photoshop or Adobe Fireworks. And the last GIF optimization tip I've already mentioned, and that is to use thumbnail images. Replace original graphics with approximately 100 pixel by 100 pixel or even smaller thumbnail images, and then establish a link between the thumbnail image and a full-sized version of the image so viewers can still access the larger graphic. Let me now review some tips for optimizing JPEGs. Now, unlike 8-bit GIF images, JPEG graphics are 24-bit, so reducing bit depths is not an option with JPEGs. Most size reduction will be achieved through increasing the level of JPEG compression. However, it is possible to prepare images beforehand to optimize the efficiency of this compression. So one tip is to use aggressive compression on your JPEGs. Images with large areas of continuous tone or gradient colors can be aggressively compressed without much quality loss. Even some of the lowest quality settings, which will be 0 to 1 in Photoshop or 20 to 30 on the standard JPEG compression scale, will produce suitable results for many photographs. Of course, this all depends on the original image, so you'll want to experiment. Again, keep increasing the compression and reducing the file size until the image quality is unacceptable, and then back off to the last acceptable level. Most web graphics programs provide a preview panel displaying the effects of your compression with corresponding file sizes, so these features will make quick work of your experimentation. Just be sure to save a copy of the original image so you can perform a fresh compression with each trial. The other tip that I have for you is to optimize your compression. Standard JPEGs use a set standard compression table called the Huffman table. Some tools offer the ability to optimize the compression table to best match the needs of a particular image. The result is an image with better color fidelity and slightly smaller file sizes. This optimization compression option is presented differently in different graphics editors. For example, here in Adobe Fireworks, you have a separate optimize panel with some additional settings to optimize your JPEG compression. Web pages fall into two classes, those with backgrounds and those without. So move on to the next movie to learn how to add background colors and/or images to your HTML pages.